we're going to go back to December 5th of 2022. Now, December 5th of 2022, Carlos Reales Dominguez is a student at UC Davis, and he's struggling. He's not doing well in school. His girlfriend broke up with him months prior. He no longer has a job. His roommates are asking him about rent. And on December 5th, he has finals. Now, we know that during this time frame, he's not spending all this time studying because Carlos Reales Dominguez goes onto Amazon and conducts a couple searches. He searches on Amazon on his account for combat knife, hunting knife, and combat knife. And he makes a selection of a double-edged dagger that he purchases from Amazon. And it's going to show that this is not just a quick event, that this is 31 different stabs that are going on to Mr. David Bro while he's sleeping on the bench, while he's down on the dirt next to the bench, and while he's getting back up to try and defend himself with his arms, and he's getting these injuries on his arm on the bench trying to defend himself before he ultimately expires. It's also going to show that from this point forward, when he's walking around with the knife, it's an unsheathed knife. Right? So he no longer has the protective sheath to carry around, and when he makes the decision to carry around this knife in the future, he's carrying around a double-edged, sharp weapon that's capable of killing humans. But we're going to hear testimony from Dr. Massey about being at his home, and he's hearing screaming. He's hearing someone yelling for help inside the park. And he's a physician, so he goes into the park to assist. And in the park, he finds Kareem, and he finds Carlos Reales Dominguez. And Carlos Reales Dominguez has been stabbing Kareem in the park. And so the testimony is going to establish that this is not a short or a quick assault, but this is a prolonged and sustained assault against Kareem. Because the assault starts, Kareem is yelling for help, Dr. Massey has to realize that something is going on, make the decision to go across the street. He goes across the street and he goes out there and gets there, and the assault is still going on. Mr. Dominguez is still there with Kareem. Kareem has been killed. Dr. Massey spends a significant amount of effort, and the officers try to perform CPR, and he tried to save him. But he's been stabbed 40 times with an additional 12 incised wounds. So 40 are stabbing punctures, and 12 are like cuts or less deep injuries, for a total of 52 knife wounds over this assault. And the vast majority of these are in his chest, right in the area of his heart. He's also sustaining knife injuries to his neck, to his face, even has one coming in and going in his lip and knocking out one of his teeth and leaving his teeth on the ground there. And so this evidence is going to be that not only is this a sustained assault, but that it's targeted at the vital portions of his body, and that it's taking place with extreme force, enough to knock out a tooth of Kareem. And so on that night, Kimberly Guillory is sleeping in her tent, is sitting in her tent that's next to a PG&E substation in the city of Davis off of L Street. She's sitting in her tent kind of on a tablet when somebody stabs her through the sidewall of the tent. And the knife goes through the tent and into her body. She's stabbed twice, including a laceration to her kidney, and she's taken to the hospital where she survives. And so you know, and he knew, that there's a knife in that bag. The knife is in that bag. And he's got the things that he's taken from the grocery store in that bag. And so you're going to see his mannerisms with this bag. Because as he's talking to the officers, you'll be able to see him even pull up his bag and kind of look inside to see, can this knife be seen in this bag? You see him looking down inside of it. And the officers are talking to him. They explain to him why they're stopping him, that there's been a series of homicides and that people are calling in, those who match the descriptions, and they're asking about what's going on. And the defendant is lying the entire time. The evidence is going to be that the defendant not only stabbed David Bro, not only did he still stab Kareem, not only did he stab Kimberly, but for each of those that he did so willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, and I'll ask you to find him guilty.
For the first 18 and a half years of his life, Mr. Reales Dominguez was completely healthy. Born in El Salvador, he immigrated to the United States as a very young child. He was raised in Oakland with his parents and his two siblings, Dylan and Mia, who are 4.5 and 9 years younger than him. You will see that he was extremely close with his siblings. Given the hours that his parents worked, it was Mr. Reales Dominguez who often had the responsibility of getting them to school, walking them home, and giving them food. Although he spoke only Spanish when he first began school, he quickly learned English and would ultimately excel academically. At Castlemont High School in Oakland, he was an honor student, a four-sport athlete, participating in varsity football, soccer, track and swimming. And through hard work, he became the starting safety and captain of the football team. And through his hard work in the classroom, he would ultimately graduate 11th out of his graduating class. He was friendly, he was outgoing, and he was healthy. There is not a known cause for schizophrenia. They believe genetics plays a large role, but the experts will tell you it is a combination of genetics, brain chemistry, and environmental factors. And like so many individuals who experienced that first break of schizophrenia, Mr. Reales Dominguez was unable to recognize that he was sick. He was unable to recognize the symptoms that were clear to everyone else. He tried to attend his classes, but his disease made that impossible for him to comprehend the material or perform the work. And you will hear he received all F's his winter term. By April of 2023, Mr. Reales Dominguez was in a state that multiple experts will tell you is florid psychosis, where he was seeing, hearing, and believing that he was being stalked by a group of shape-shifting supernatural beings that he described as the shadow figures. He didn't make eye contact, except for the times the officers ordered him to look at them, which they did over 20 times. He exhibited grossly disorganized thought processes and disorganized speech. Although he persisted in giving the name of John Joas, he gave his correct phone number, and he tried to give his email to UC Davis under the name Carlos Dominguez, but he was unable to spell it correctly. Other information he gave was close to accurate. You will see that while antipsychotic medication is very effective, or can be very effective, at treating the positive symptoms of schizophrenia, the hallucinations, the delusions, it is far less effective at treating the negative symptoms. And you will see that many of Mr. Reales Dominguez's negative symptoms, though less pronounced, are still present today.